Welcome. If you are returning, thanks for coming back. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. We are doing a review and try on of the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation / Concealer. And full confession, I probably never would have tried this if it wasn't for Ulta, because as a diamond perk, when you reach the diamond level this year, you get a list of options for products that you can receive for free. And this was one of the options. So I figured, why not try it? I picked up the shade WN114 and I am surprised that it does actually match me, because as you may or may not know, testers are not available for, I think, pretty much every store. So you kind of got to eye it and think about what you wear in other products and hopefully get a match, and that worked for me this time. So let's just get to the try on. I'm going to clip my hair back so it's not like it's a lot going on. So let me clip it back so it's out of my face. And I'm going to use the Sigma Complexion Air Kabuki brush. This is one of my favorite foundation brushes lately. That's what I'm going to use to apply it. And I'm going to start with my favorite foundation primer, which is the Cover FX Mattifying Primer. And I don't really know why I've never considered Clinique foundation. I think it's just one of those brands that I know it's there, but I don't really pay attention to it that much. You know, there's some that like you always see and you know they're there, but you're just, I don't know. It's not bad, it's not good. I just kind of like never really was tuned into it. So I'm kind of glad that the Ulta perk was a choice of this foundation, because it's something that I honestly never would have bought on my own. And I just like to pick up any excess primer with a beauty blender just to make sure that I don't have any extra sliding around on my face. And if you guys don't know this, I am pretty much obsessed with Ulta. I think that their reward system is probably the best out there. If not the best, it's one of the best. I save up all my points. I try to shop when they have 10 times, 5 times points, because you get more bang for your buck, and you can use those points to get a lot of really expensive products that you've had your eye on for free or virtually free. So if you want to know more about how it works and how you can maximize your points and your money, I'll link my blog post down below so you can check that out. According to Clinique, this is fragrance free and allergy tested. It's moderate to full coverage and it gives a natural matte finish. You can use this all over or to spot conceal. So I think to kind of show you how it works, we'll do like a little spot conceal first, and then obviously do it all over for like the full face. So let's bring it on in. Let's get a little closer. Ooh. Okay, we're all close and comfortable now. So what's different about this, and there are some other foundations that are like this, instead of a pump, it has the little applicator, which I kind of think goes with the foundation concealer concept, because obviously the majority of concealers you apply this way. So I think that's kind of why the applicator is like this. And I'm gonna use a Sigma concealer brush for the spot conceal test try on. And we'll use this in this area of my cheek. This is where, like, if I was doing a no makeup, just doing a little bit of concealer, this is definitely where I would apply it. So let's just dot it on here and see what happens. And I'm going to just press it in, because again, if I was doing just like a spot conceal, I wouldn't want to be smoothing it, because I'd want most of the color to stay where I'm putting it. You know, in the areas where I am concealing, that's where I want the product concentrated. So, you know, as opposed to when you apply foundation and you're really like smoothing it in, when I spot conceal, I like to tap it in and then just buff out the edges so it's not a blob. And I think that this is covering really, really nicely. Like, I didn't use a lot. And you can see, like, right here, it looks like skin. I mean, honestly, compared to the rest. And let's just buff it out a little bit. It's blending out really nicely. I think this color match is like spot on. This is probably one of the best color matches for me. And my skin tends to be a little on the oily side. So I think that this natural matte finish is nice because a really matte finish for me, I have to really make sure that my powders and primers are working well so that my oils aren't coming through in weird areas because it's so matte. And the more like natural satin type finishes make me look like greasy after a while because my oils start coming through. So this is a nice finish. Like compared to this side, it looks the same. And I think this would be perfect for like those no makeup days because I mean really, like you can barely tell anything is there, and you can just go ahead and, you know, cover up any little areas and be on about your merry way. So let's go ahead and do the entire face. I mean, obviously I'm pretty impressed with this so far, but we'll do the entire face so you can see how it looks everywhere. And also this is supposed to have a lightweight feel to it, and I think it does. Like it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel like something is covering my skin. It just feels like almost like a cream or moisturizer, like something very light. It doesn't feel like, you know, some things feel like they're clogging. Like, you know, you're gonna have to exfoliate, scrub some of that out. This doesn't feel like that. So because this coverage is so good, I'm really just gonna start with a couple little dots to blend out. And then if we need to add more, we will, but I think that this might be enough. And this area here is like where I just have some darkness here. And so I really usually use more right there. And I think this might be up there with Fenty's Pro Filter for me. That's like my current favorite, just with the coverage and the color matching. It's a little too matte sometimes, depending on how my skin is acting, but overall, it's my favorite. And this might be up there with it. One of my least favorites, and I really hate to say it, I really do, because I wanted to love this foundation, is the Mcgrath Foundation because of the finish. For me, that finish it just doesn't really work for me. It makes me look a little more greasy and oily than I would like. And the coverage isn't what I would like. So I feel like I have to use more of it to get the coverage that I like, but then I end up looking like a grease ball. So it's my least favorite. And I think it's my most expensive, and I really wanted to love it because I love all the rest of her products, but it just wasn't doing it for me. Okay, so we've got this all on, and I mean, I think, honestly, with that little bit that I used, it's looking pretty good. I think there's a couple areas where I need like a little more coverage that I'll go in with, but for those tiny little dots, I think it did really well. And you can see it doesn't look like I have anything on, like nothing at all. I'm impressed. All right, I'm gonna go in and add just a tiny bit more here, my cheek, where I have some little hyperpigmentation areas, and I don't think my like forehead nose area there got enough. And this foundation, I believe, retails for like $30, I think. I'm not exactly sure, but I will put the price in the comment section because I honestly didn't pay attention to it because it was free, but I think it's about $30. And this is just, like, even just tapping it in to get that extra coverage in these areas, it just blends out really nicely. Here we are. I think that you could just set this with a setting spray. It doesn't seem like overly shiny that you need a setting powder. However, I am gonna go ahead and put on my concealer, my powder, all the rest of that. So I'll come back and show you how it looks right before I set everything so you can see kind of how it performs with the setting powder, and we'll have some final thoughts. So I applied my contour, my concealer, and my cream blush. I used the e.l.f. Putty Blush in the shade Fiji. If you missed my review on these $6 drugstore blushes, there's a link up there for you to check it out. So let's go ahead and set the foundation. I'm using the Cover FX mattifying setting powder. I like to apply it with a fluffy brush, so this one is by Real Techniques. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of it. I like to tap it in first and then kind of buff it. And so far, this sets really nicely. It still has that natural finish. Like you can see here, there's a little bit more sheen versus where we applied the setting powder, but I think it still looks good either way. And it still feels really light. So it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't seem to be getting cakey or anything. It's just performing really nicely. Like this is, I'm kind of sad that I have not discovered this before. Like this could have been my jam before now, well before now. And I am pleased with what we have here. I think it's looking great. I'm gonna finish up my makeup and come back with some final thoughts. So, final thoughts. I am definitely impressed with the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation Concealer. I set everything with setting spray and I haven't noticed it getting oily or cakey or just weird in general. So I really like this. I think the color match is spot on. I think it's really versatile, so you can use it as a concealer and just spot correct any problem areas or use as a foundation. In either way, the coverage is beautiful. I'm only sad that I didn't discover this before now. So let me know if you have tried this foundation or if you plan on trying it. Again, I think it's really great for oily skin. So if you're an oil slick like me, definitely give this a shot. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. There's a new video every single Tuesday and Friday, and hit that notification bell so you can be one of the first to know when there is a new video, and I will see you next time.